children are grown. I'm telling you, raising kids.
I tell you.
People, I want to be a mommy. I want to be a mommy. I say, girl, you know what you're saying? You don't know what you're
Okay, it is amazing when your children.
Well, if you have good help, other people around to help you.
Yeah.
You can't do it by yourself.
You can't know. Then you have influences from the other people around you too. So you have to be careful.
Yes.
Well, I mean the right people.
So,
yeah.
We're talking about what it takes to be a godly mother, and this is our Mother's Day presentation. So Teresa, tell your story, because just real the short version, because I'm telling you, you weren't supposed to be here pregnant today.
I know, right?
I think you can't get pregnant. I don't care what the doctor said.
That's
Here's
right.
the witness.
Yeah. God said.
They told me. I mean, the fibroids, like most black women. They have fibroids, and of course I can't just have fibroids. I have to have, fibroids that make it like I'm 6 months. My uterus was expanded 6 months the first time, and they had me sign the hysterectomy papers. And I remember that night I signed the hysterectomy papers that day, and I just told God, I'm not trying to, I want to have kids. I'm not trying to end it like this, And I fought, through the surgery. Like you said, it was an attack because I was in surgery, blood for transfusions, everything, recovery for 12 hours. It was a fight.
That's the first surgery.
The first one,
And then she went back
with no hysterectomy. And then then you try to do it God's way, so you're like, I'm not gonna just have a baby. I want to wait till I get married. 7 years later, I'm back in the hospital, and this time I literally had 3 carton of eggs, basically, of fibroids, because they were the size of eggs. He took out 35 fibroids, endometriosis, the whole, and he said the scar tissue was just so severe.
Right. But the funny thing is that when the doctor was in the room, Teresa was in the hospital, when the doctor was in the room the second time, saying that her uterus was no longer viable, she would probably have neither children. Daryl was sitting in the room. He was just a friend of hers.
He was my friend.
She met. He was sitting there when the doctor said that.
And they had me on the maternity ward. So after the surgery, they had me walking the hallways to get back to normal. And people were telling us congratulations on the baby. We're like, no. We're just friends. I didn't have the baby. I'm trying to make sure I can, But it's so funny. Now we're going back there to the same hospital, the same floor.
God has a sense of humor.
Yeah, but it was I think a 10-year battle altogether, and even with after that surgery,
and no money spent on in vitro
fertilization. We didn't have no money to spend, But honestly, we read. And we weren't even a financial place really where we were like, okay, now's the best time. But we were just saying at some point. But we read that scripture that you brought up in the last Bible study about Isaac, where it says Isaac prayed for his wife. And so Daryl prayed, and he wouldn't even pray out loud. He just prayed, laying hands on me.
Genesis 25:21.
I think that's
it. It was barren, and Isaac pleaded with the Lord.
Yeah, that's the one. And we read that scripture, and Daryl said, well, let's just see, but we had no idea it would be. But at the same time, my 42nd birthday was coming up, so we can't wait 5 years, unless God could do anything. But we don't want to push it. But he prayed for me, and he prayed silently. I don't know what he asked God for. I don't know what he said. He anointed me, and he prayed for me 8 times. It was 8 different times that he prayed. And meanwhile, I prayed, but I was praying because I was too afraid to even ask because I didn't think it was possible. So when he says a faith the size of a
baby outfit in your closet.
But I had well, that was 10 years ago before my first surgery. The night before my surgery, and 2 nights before I went to the mall and bought a baby outfit. And I said, bought a girl outfit and a boy outfit and put it up in my closet. And I said, so now that outfit is out of the box.
In the closet.
Happy Mother's Day.
But
the funny thing is that when I was pregnant with Teresa, it was the same battle, okay? It was the same battle because when she was born, I had a really, really tough pregnancy. And when she was finally born, she was born, of course, with her hands her fingers were missing, and her foot was one leg was shorter than the other. And I remember her father was when she was in the incubator, and the doctor was telling me, he said, she's a problem, with your baby. And he says, well, what? And you know, doctors, how they start to use those medical terms and whatnot, and well, you know, this, that, and the other, we need to cover it. He said, wait a minute. He went in the incubator, picked her up, pulled the covers off, and examined her himself. And he held her up. He said, baby, you are going to be all right. He said, I'm going to make sure that you're all right, okay? And he kissed her and put her back. You know? So, you know, I'm just glad that even his faith then was not in what the doctor said, you know. But he knew he loved her enough, you know. And you know, but again, the attack is always against the godly seed, you know, because, you know, 18 years later, she was on a bus on her way to college, and the Lord called her to preach, you know. So, but he tried to kill her in the womb, you know, he really, really did.
I have to interject a very similar story. I was 8 weeks pregnant with Dion, and I was at work, had just started a new job. You know, my daughter sitting here at the table was almost 5 years old, and I got this excruciating pain. So I called, and someone came and picked me up and took me home, and all that night the pain was just so intense. They finally rushed me to the hospital.
How many months pregnant?
I was 2.5 months.
Okay.
Wow. So when I get to the hospital, you know, they have to immediately rush me into surgery because they realized, again, I had fibroids. And they said the tumors had, or the cyst had literally grown larger than the embryo.
Oh my God.
And it was just, and this was 40 years ago. He is 40 years old
Today.
Wow.
Amen.
So this is, you know,
I've never heard of them doing surgery on a pregnant woman. That's
so
amazing.
He fought.
He was fighting from the beginning.
The devil fought for Dion from the beginning.
From the beginning, he fought for my son from the beginning.
Well, jump fast forward.
Let me fast forward.
to
So let
Dion's
me just
story.
tell you, and so, you know, 9 months later, here he is. I was bedridden a lot of that time. And, you know, he was even late coming. You know, he was almost 3 weeks late. I mean, 7 pounds, 14 ounces. I was 90 pounds. There was no way I could have made that large, okay? And from that day on, he was always advanced, always doing things, always.
I remember when we were
and
little.
the devil just refused. He just really wanted to take this child. And so that internal battle was always going on.
So by the time he hit his teens.
By the time he hit his teens, you know, this boy was doing everything. Every day it was like, Miss Boyce, can you come to the school? Dion's in trouble. Dion's in trouble. He had more opportunity transfers than I think in the LA school system. It got to the point I'm like, you find the school, you go, and I'll just show up. So, you know, and he did. I mean, there was just constantly battles, always with the wrong kids, always in trouble. You know,
and where is he today?
And where is he today? He is now a member of the Directors Guild of America.
He's
working on the biggest movie in Hollywood.
Twilight. And he is now, and every time himself and a grandfather and calling me, Mom, I've got a testimony. And he's got a testimony on his lips every day.
Walking with the Lord.
Walking with the Lord. He called this week. He's like, Mom, let me share this testimony on this movie. I signed up on this movie, low budget movie, agreed to the salary. 2 days later, first of all, he sends me an email where the producer is telling me how glad he was there, how he pulled things together, and how much more confident everybody was that he was in control. They call him in the office, say, we want to take you out to dinner. The next thing he knows, they're increasing his pay.
Wow. Dorothy, before we go, what does your mom mean to you?
Everything. She's just amazing, amazing woman. Since we were kids, and even her being a single parent, we didn't miss a beat. We had everything we needed, my brother and I both. I went to private school, my brother went to private school, you know, so Mom has been our rock and our fortress, you know, outside of, I mean, of course God first, but Mom is everything. She's my best friend, and
she made you move all the way across the country. So you're going to be away from me. You moved all the way across the country.
I did good. I lasted for almost 2 years.
Before you followed her. I know that's right.
There's someone around here that wants to wish you a happy birthday.
Yes.
We gotta put the baby on camera.
Come on.
Come on, Karen. If you hear this little little buzz in his
This is what's been
background.
whimpering the whole time.
This
This
what's
is Kara.
Say happy
This is
Mother's
Kara.
Day,
Say Happy
Kara.
Mother's Day.
How are you happy?
You finally got to get up film, okay?
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to
Hang in there with your
everyone.
kids, no matter how much trouble they
Yeah.
get.
Hang in
God
there.
has a
Hang
plan.
in
Don't
there.
let
That's
Satan
right.
steal your seed.
That's
You're
right.
hanging in with
Hang
me.
in there.
Amen.
God
Okay.
bless.
God bless.
She actually has to go.
Yeah, I was trying to keep
I
her from
know.
eating.